everybody, we're back. My goodness, I've been out for a couple of weeks. I know you guys haven't seen me, but I'm back and ready for the last little leg of this fall tour. I have with me Reverend Katherine Jackson, who is a mentor with the WRJ Hub and who is also the president and the person who coordinates Psalms Ministry. So tell everybody, hey.
Hello, everybody.
We're glad to be here with you. We're going to talk a little bit about the back to school thing so that we can help prepare parents and students to get ready for this new coming year.
Right.
Now, the one thing I want to talk about first is the fact that the City College's deadline was today. We mentioned that earlier in the month. And we want you to know that you can try for late registration, and that will come up in November, or you can just possibly see if there might be some room. But I couldn't really guarantee that right now. They're ready to roll with this new fall term. So November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th will be the next open enrollment, and I want you guys to be prepared, especially the high school students who are juniors and also seniors this year. There is a scholarship program called the STAR Scholarship Program with the ccu.edu. That's the email address for the City Colleges of Chicago. And if you keep a 3.0, if you just go in really focused this year with the 3.0 coming out and a fairly good ACT score, you're going to get a chance to go to college free. It is a scholarship that will pay your tuition and also pay for your books. So this is really important that you guys are focused when you want to go back for the coming year, and to kind of keep your eye on the prize, because you can save you $40,000 in college costs. Mm-hmm. And people who get an associate degree over a lifetime make $500,000 more than the person without a degree. And with a bachelor's, it's an additional $500,000. So I'm talking to parents to make sure that if your child is going into their junior year, they go in focused, because it will allow you to take classes at the city colleges. If your grades are up and you're doing really well, you can take some of your classes along with your high school curriculum, and then go on and get your to work towards your associates in the 2 years that you have remaining in high school. For people who have children who have been out of school and you want to get them back, I want you guys to contact the Hub. We're going to give you some information in a minute on that. And in contacting the Hub, you will be able to know that we'll work with you to try to get you in some kind of alternative school. The main thing is to get in school, stay in school. Stay in school, stay in school, stay in school. Yes. Whether it's high school, college, some kind of trade school, something. You got to be prepared for what's coming in the next 5 to 10 years. You got to kind of make some kind of plan so you know in 5 years where you would like to be, and we'd like to all see every one of you on top. Yes. So we're going to talk a little bit. Katherine's done some research, and she's really, really good at this in preparing the parents to get their kids ready. So we're going to I'm going to take those phone calls, and if you have any questions, I've got some resource numbers and some links to send you to, and we want you, once again, we want to invite you to contact us at the WRJ Hub, and we have people on staff who will be able to help coordinate getting you back in school, especially if you've had some problems and you're not in school now and you want to go back, or you want to get your GED. There's some special pricings right now going on GEDs. We can get $75 off. We'll give you some of that information. I'm pushing school. I'm pushing education, and I'm pushing greatness in all of you, and not only in the Woodlawn area, but just in life in general, especially all over the city of Chicago. We got to do something. I think education is key. And Katherine's going to give you this information now. We're going to give you a little overhead shot of where to contact us, and then we'll let her have this. It's the Woodlawn Restorative Justice Hub, and that's WRJHub@gmail.com.
All righty. Well, I thank you, George Face and Peaches, for providing that information. I'm really glad to be here this afternoon to share with you some insights as we prepare for school. And as we look at school this year, I know parents, that there are a lot of questions that we have. We are concerned about the budget in the school system. We're concerned about what kind of teachers that are going to be teaching your children. We're concerned about the volunteers are there. There's a lot to be concerned about. I, as a parent, know what it's like to get prepared for our young people to get ready for school. So I have a few things I like to share with you. I was just helping some young people, my mentors this week, about getting ready for school, and I was asking them some questions. For example, for the high school students, okay, have you checked and find out what kind of classes do you need right now? Do you know, have you registered for class? Did you check with your grades? Are your grades up to par? Do you know the teachers, or have you been up to the school? Those are very important questions for my mentee that I was asking about this week about being prepared for school. And not only that, bus transportation. What bus are you going to take to school? And then I have the high school student are asking about jobs. I know that this summer was very, very difficult for a lot of our young people being able to find work. And so I have encouraged them to continue to go to the unemployment office, to go to your local community agencies to find out if they have any jobs available, or even get training about how to get prepared for a job, getting a resume together for the high school students. And also asking the high school students, like, okay, if you didn't do good this past school year, work very hard to do good this year, this fall. It's time out to not to play, but be serious about the work that you're planning on doing, especially to get ready for graduation. We do no longer want to be talked about as far as our young people that they do not have dreams. They do not care about what happens to them. There are a lot of positive young men and women that are in high school, that are in college, that have a desire to be successful. And we as parents and as a community, we have the responsibility to encourage our young people, to tell them they can be anything they want to be. They can dream and they can make things happen. But we have a responsibility. What responsibility do we have as a community? What responsibility do we have as parents? As parents, we need to just be able to follow through. We need to make sure, find out when school starts. Find out who the teachers are. Find out what subjects are they taking. Find out what at the beginning of the school year, if they're taking a math, are they up to par? Are they meeting the standards in order to pass a particular grade, or to understand the level, the expectations for a particular grade level? What do they need to know? And I think that's important, that you need to know that. You need to meet your principal. You need to know who the principal is, who's the assistant principal may be. You need to find out who those people are so that you'll know, and that they know that you are a caring parent. I think that is so important, that you know everything about the school and the school knows everything about you. I know that we're struggling with violence in our community, so I think it's very important that you look at the safe zone, safe passage, find out where those places are at, find out who's doing what and when, so that you'll have all the information. We can just fall short by the lack of information. You as a parent, you have rights. And in the school system, if you contact Chicago Public Schools or at your local school, they have a book, a policy. They have a policy about what happens in school. They have a policy about discipline. They have a policy about justice. They have a policy about how they, operate with their students and operate with their teachers. You have a right to know. And so I think the first thing in this is get information. Get information so that you'll know. Get information about the do's and don'ts so that your students will know. Now, as you prepare for school, especially with our high school students, you want to get them prepared, as Peaches talked about, getting ready for college, or getting ready from 10th grade to 11th grade to graduation. And there are many opportunities for us to be able to make that happen. There are tutoring programs that you can check into. If your child is having some problems, contact your local churches, contact Chicago Public Schools, find out if they have tutoring programs, find out through local organizations if they have tutoring programs so that you can make sure that they have it. Make sure that your students are already equipped before they even start. I was told a long time ago, school starts right after Labor Day. But my parents and our village, we were getting ready for school every day. Every day we were looking at the places of where we need to do as far as preparing for buying clothes, preparing kids going to bed early, preparing, making sure they have their books and materials. Listen, parents, if you say, look, I don't have any money, I don't have the resources, there's resources out here in the community. Please contact the Chicago Public Schools or your local school where your child is attending and tell them what your needs are. And somewhere here in the city of Chicago, because we care, we're out here to be willing to help you to make sure your child is very successful. Now, someone called the other day and they were asking information about where can you get some school supplies. I contacted local churches and also the alderman's office, and they stated, call them and they could be able to provide you a list of places where you may be able to get some school supplies. Another place, contact the YMCA, local community organizations, also contact Chicago Public Schools. Now, I was just out last weekend buying some school supplies for my grandchildren, and I found some good deals at the dollar store. Yes. Just go to your local stores. I should not mention any particular store, but go to your local stores and just go and look around, call the local churches, and make sure that you can get some support. Okay, another place that I like to do is also make sure that you find out the day in which registration happens. Every school may be different. Okay, we have the track 1 schools, 2 and 3, so you want to call your schools and find out what day school starts. Also, for our young people, those are just starting school, kindergarten, preschool, remember you have to get your shots. So you want to make sure that you contact your local doctors to make sure that you have your immunizations are taken care of. So please, parents, start looking into that now, because for some schools, if you don't have your shots, you cannot get in school. So we like to make sure that happens. First day of school, I know that parents, please, if you can, take your child to school. It's so important to take your child to school so that you'll be able to know each other, that you'll be able to know the teachers, and the teachers will be able to know who you are. That is so important. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about, as we talked about the teachers, we talked about the students, and we talked about getting prepared for school. Let's talk about, how do you get your child prepared? I know this summer, and in some cases has been, fun. But now we want to get our children ready to start thinking about the importance of learning math, reading. Did you get a chance to read to your child? Go to the library. Oh, make sure you go to the library. Get a library book. Make sure that you give with our young people, make sure that they're able to get in bed on time, that they eat healthy, that they have the right attitude. It is one thing to be able to go to school, but have the mindset that they're there to learn. And remind parents, remind your young people that they can do anything, that they can dream big, that they can make it. And we have a village. We have the churches, we have the schools, we have parents, we have community organizations that are out here to be supportive. Let's have a positive attitude that yes, you can. Yes, you can do it. And let's be able to show them how to be able to overcome any challenges that we have. And parents, I remember what it was like to be able to get up in the morning time to get our child ready, and yet you still have to go to work and you still have to take care of things. But we can do this together. We can be able to instill values of self-worth, values of self-esteem, and then being able to remind them that they can do anything but fail. There's some other things I also like to be able to share with you. As I was talking to our mentors this past weekend, and they were talking about, how do I deal with stress? How do I deal with challenges when I go to school and I'm not sure how to be able to overcome them? Well, And most of our schools, we have counselors, and then they also have social workers. So look at those areas and to be able to talk to them, to say if you have a problem, you have some challenges, to be able to talk to them, to be able to help them to overcome any challenges that they may have. And I know that some budget cuts have happened in the schools, and so some schools may not have music. They may not have, the top of the line, the sports programs, but then parents, let's look at the community organizations. Let's look at the YMCA. Let us be creative and be the village that we say we are, find creative ways to be able to make school enjoyable and yet be able to meet the challenge, because I know that it's very difficult sometimes for us to say that it's real easy, and yet at the same time, we see the challenge. We see the violence in our community. Speaking of violence, let's talk to our children about how to overcome conflict resolution. Let's teach them about conflict resolution, how to communicate, how to be able to identify situations when it becomes too hot to handle, how to back off. Sometimes it's not necessary for us to get violent, but we could find ways to be able to talk things out, because we can work things out. It starts in our home. It starts in our home about how we start talking to each other, and it starts in our home how we begin to encourage our children to be very successful. So I'd like to be able to share that information with you. And if you have any questions about looking for resources, contact the Chicago Public Schools. And parents, I like to talk to you. I just like to talk to you about being a parent. First, I'd like to tell you that, wow, you're great. You are great parents. You're a great father. You're a great mother. And I know that it's just challenging to work and go to school and get your children ready, but this is what you have. You have the love for your child. So I encourage you, the love that you have, continue to provide that love with your child each and every day. Continue to be able to encourage them about the work that they're doing in school, and encourage yourself and know that yes, one size doesn't fit all, but you're doing the very best that you can do. And I know that we live in the world, and even in our Woodlawn neighborhood, that we're dealing with a lot of challenges, but there's nothing too big that you can't not handle. You can handle all the challenges that we have in school. And even understanding, even if I know now that when I'm working with my mentees and they bring me a math problem, I've learned that even though I may not have the answer, I know the resources out in the community, and I can be able to contact them. And here's another place. I was just at the public library. The public library is a good resources. You can go there, not just about just reading, but they're there available to be able to look up information. So we want to be able to use all the resources that we have in our community to make that happen. So are there any callers? Please feel free to call, and I'll be glad to be able to help answer any questions that you may have. And also, look at some after school activities. Look at your local schools and see if there are any after school activities. I know that After School Matters is through the Chicago Public Schools. I know that you can, I'm recalling that the Black Star Project and some other organizations have their tutoring program, have their reading program. I know they have the Parent University. So there are a number of places you can always get additional resources that is free. So keep asking for information so we can be prepared for our young people. And also, I know that some schools require that you have uniforms. So here's what we do. I can't name the stores, I have to remember that, but contact your local schools to ask about your uniforms. Contact the local organizations because I know that local schools have resources that's available to be able to help you if you're looking for particular uniforms. Check that out. Some schools are not required for you to have uniforms, and some schools do. So we want to be able to help you to look at those places too. And then also parents, look and contact your local parent organizations. We used to call them PTAs or LSCs. there are local organizations that you want to be actively involved with. Those groups in their particular schools, what they do, they get together as parents, they look at how they can be of assistance to the school. They may be doing bake sales, helping special sporting events. There are ways to be able to find ways to do fundraising for the schools. And if you're part of the LSC or the PTA, you have input about what happens. You're able to work closely with the principal. If there's not a PTA or LSC or a local organization there at that particular school, challenge the principal. Talk to the principal about, I would like to be a part of that. What can we do to be supportive of the school? That's called school pride. School pride. School pride about your child. School pride about your school in your neighborhood. You bring school pride about the work that you pull together, the things that you do. And I also did I talk to you about the children program? Yes, I did. Okay. Now, what I also like to be able to do is talk about working with local churches and with local organizations that's in your neighborhood. I think it's very important for you to contact, or for pastors listening right now, or a minister or clergy, please, be available. Pass on information that you may have, that services that you may be able to provide. Because providing that information, that's a way that the community, the village works together. So churches, if you do have some programs, and I know that you do, because we're all about building the kingdom, and we're all about helping our community to grow and be strong. And we're definitely about having our young people, our young girls, our young boys to become positive leaders in our community. So I know that we all want to be a team player. A team player to make sure that we may produce the next president of the United States. That we becoming a team player for our young people, that they may become the mayor of the city of Chicago. They may become the senator. So that's one of the things that we want to instill in them. So the clergy, I'm sure that the clergy in our local community are doing many awesome things about making sure that our community grow and be strong, and making sure our young people are successful. And then also, please make sure that when you send your child to school, I'm not saying that you don't, but just make sure that they have a healthy meal. It's so important that they have a healthy meal when they're getting ready for school. Make sure that they're eating properly. And now some of the schools even have some free breakfast. So check that out too, because that's important too. Make sure that they sleep, get plenty of rest. And sometimes turn that cell phone off. Turn the cell phone off. Make sure there's educational programs on. Always have them to talk to you. I think communication is so important, parents. It is so important that you learn what your child is learning in school, and you challenge them for what needs to happen. So again, if you have any questions, please contact our Woodlawn Restorative Justice Hub, so where you can be able to make contact with us, because we are definitely need your help to be able to make sure that we're very successful. And we love the work that we're constantly there doing. And I'm just happy for the work.
Yes, you are. And everybody's happy to have you there. Listen, we gave a lot of information. I know it's a lot, but we're trying to kind of get you ready for school and help get kids ready for school. And a lot of that, it's a partnership between the kids and the parents. So you saw our information. We're going to give that to you one more time. And that's the Woodlawn Restorative Justice Hub. And you can email us at wrjhub@gmail.com. And we want to thank you guys for coming in. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. We had a great time. Thank you.